This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, we review Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Plus, Marvel finds its Galactus for the Fantastic Four movie. Bob Iger confirms Marvel is slowing down their output. Frank Grillo added to the Peacemaker Season 2 cast, and more, all in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, May 13th, 2024.
This is Frank Grillo. You know me. But who are you? Are you the discerning, sophisticated type of person who enjoys all the latest comic book and superhero TV and movie news? Pop culture references, witty banter? Me neither. I'm just here for the dick jokes.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. Jock it, be nerd it. Be funny, disturb it. We jock it, be nerd it. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah.
Hey, hello, listener. How's it going? Thanks for pressing play and welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
Joining us is a fella who loves to hang out in the trees and eat berries. And if you get too close to him, he will throw his shit at you. So be warned. It's Rug Boy. What's up, Rugs?
Calling me Ape Boy, Imran.
It's Ape Boy.
I had a watery stool the other day.
Oh, how do you throw that at people?
Well, if you let it dry, it turns into a discus.
Oh.
Yeah.
Get a little
I play
aerodynamics.
shit frisbee with people.
Look at that shit fly. It's amazing.
It can go pretty far if you
Do you
throw it
think
right.
that's how they invented the shot put? Is somebody saw apes throwing their shit at each other and they were like, you know what? That shit was really heavy.
It used to be called shit put.
It was called shit put.
Yeah.
Hey, that's our
Now you learned something.
Olympics history for this Olympics year. Anthony, you looking forward to the Olympics in the Paris?
Paris?
Yeah.
Is that this year?
Yeah, it's happening.
Oh.
They still do those things.
No.
No, not looking forward to it at all. Well, it'll be over before
I used to
you know
be
it.
huge on the Olympics,
Yeah.
but now I'm just whatever on it. I remember in 96 when it was in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I was chanting USA in front of the TV
Really?
as a 8-year-old. I'll probably still watch the basketball, but other stuff, I'll just catch the highlights or whatever.
It's one of them crazy years, right? You got election, you got Olympics every 4 years. They got to fuck things up.
Do you watch the Olympics, Imran?
I do because it's always on, and sometimes I get sucked into
Which
the
country do you
storylines.
root for, though?
Oh, I always want to see what Pakistan is. They
Is
only have,
Pakistan in the Olympics?
they got a couple of people I think in like swimming.
What's their big event?
I
Yeah,
think
what
track
is
and
Pakistan?
field or
Oh.
swimming. I don't know. Maybe shit
Is
putting.
cricket in the Olympics?
Is cricket in the Olympics? That's what I was going to say, but I don't know if it is. It might be. Lacrosse? I don't know. Look,
What, are you just muttering to yourself whenever the Olympics are on? But what about esports?
no, they can have their own Olympics. You don't have to include them in these Olympics. They'll have better Olympics with drone races and stuff. I don't know. It's going to be a crazy summer. But for right now, we have a fun movie we're going to review later and some geek news to discuss. Let's do it.
The Jock and Nerd podcast.
I got more casting news, more Fantastic Four casting news. Hollywood Reporter has reported Marvel has chosen their Galactus. It is British actor Ralph Ineson.
Oh, shit.
Who that?
I know what you're saying. Who's that? This guy, actually, he's been in a lot of stuff. He's been acting for 30 years.
Yeah, but who that?
He was most recently in that movie, The First Omen. He was in The Creator that we watched, Gareth Edwards,
Okay.
The Creator. He's been on Game of Thrones. He was in the Willow TV show. He's in The Green Knight. He was in, I was just scrolling through, his IMDb is very long. Dark Crystal. He was on the Chernobyl show. He's actually also going to be in the Frankenstein movie that's coming up. Basically, if you seen the picture of this guy, look at this guy's face. He looks like Galactus.
The question is, are they going to make Galactus look like that?
Well, that's the thing is like, because
Like, how do you pull off Galactus?
it's got to be like Arishem from the Eternals, right? Would
Right.
Galactus be that size? Would he be bigger even?
I think he'd be that size.
He'd be at least that size. But that didn't have like a human face, and this is like a giant person. I don't know. Let me play you a clip of an interview because this is why I think it's the best reason that he's cast. Listen to this dude's fucking voice.
I played his character, and I read some of the lines, and the writing was great.
It's amazing.
The world seemed wonderful, and as an actor, what you want is good writing.
That's Galactus's voice. They don't even have to do anything. They would have to put no effects on that.
Well, essentially, he'd just be voicing the character.
He would, and maybe if there is a face, it looks like him, and they kind of mocap him. But he's got the long fucking Galactus head. What do you guys think of this? And what do you think of the fact that the rumor I kept hearing was Javier Bardem?
Yeah, that was the rumor.
Right? What do you think happened?
I think this is a better choice.
Why?
Because his voice is more like the timbery,
His voice is amazing. And
They both got really good voices, although I don't think I would have imagined Galactus with a Spanish accent.
yeah, possibly.
So, yeah, I mean, this is fine too. I don't
It's like
really
if
know the guy. That's
Galactus was
I think
Antonio
I've seen his
Banderas.
face. Go ahead, Ruggs. What'd you say?
I was like, imagine Galactus was Antonio Banderas with a Spanish accent.
Antonio Banderas, I'm going to eat your
And
planet.
then Silver Surfer with Selma Hayek.
that would be great.
Wow.
I'd pay to see that. Oh my God. Ralph Ineson he was in Guardians of the Galaxy as a Ravager pilot. He was in Kingsman Secret Service. He's in Star Wars Last Jedi, Peaky Blinders. This guy has been around.
He's a working actor. He's been in a lot of things.
He is a veteran working actor, so that's great, I think.
What I would
like
hope,
it.
though, is that Galactus, there's a lot of mileage in the Galactus character, so hopefully this isn't a one and done.
Yeah, if he's the main villain,
Not only the villain, but Galactus's character isn't even like he's been the villain. He's been not necessarily a hero, but he's been just kind of a force of nature. Sometimes he's been used for good.
Right.
So there's a lot of. It's a character that seems very silly on the surface.
Yeah.
That character has a lot of miles.
So Galactus is not quite a celestial, but he is an entity.
Oh,
is he like the only one of his kind?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not the biggest Galactus guy.
You're not?
Is he like a one and only character?
He is formerly a mortal man. He is a cosmic entity who consumes planets to sustain his life source and serves a functional role in the upkeep of the primary Marvel content.
So he is the one and only.
Yeah.
That happened to him. He became an entity through some kind of cosmic bullshit.
Right.
He was
merged with the sentience of the universe.
He was a cloud in that other Fantastic Four movie.
Right, that
didn't work.
He was like a big vape cloud.
Yeah, he was he was just a vape. It was like going to a vape shop and Galactus was there. No, I think like from what I could tell, the story is going to be like, he's going to try to eat Earth and he just picked the wrong planet and they got to stop him. This is a crazy cast. Here's another interesting thing about the Ralph Ineson. He recently sued Disney last December for £150,000. He was injured on the set of Willow, the TV show. His lawyers filed a lawsuit claiming he suffered permanent shoulder damage shooting an action scene as Commander Ballantyne while fighting a 9-foot ogre. Ineson said he caught his foot on steps, obscured by foam gravel, which was not raked properly. And he says the injury means he's no longer able to play parts involving fighting and horse riding. So I guess that's a good settlement. $150, 150,000 pounds, 150 bucks, and you can't ride horses anymore.
That's like 200 something.
It's 188. It says, well, 188 American, yeah, USD. But it's just ironic that like he just sued them last year,
and they're like, "Oh, you know what? We'll give you a settlement, but just shut the fuck up, and we'll make you Galactus."
You know why? Also, what might have happened is that maybe Javier they couldn't afford him, and
maybe the cast is too big.
The cast is getting pretty big. We're going to talk about another person they added. Before that, though, listener, join this conversation. Join our Facebook group. Let us know what you think of Ralph Ineson as Galactus. It's called Jock and Nerd Nation. Jock and Nerd. There is a link in the episode description. And it is our admin there is the wonderful John Bellotti Jr., who is putting on a one-day kaiju convention called Kaiju Brooklyn this summer, June 1st, in Industry City in Brooklyn. And Anthony and myself will be there.
Oh, shit. Geek boner.
Yeah. I'm sure Bellotti's doing cartwheels.
Bellotti, set aside 2 tickets. We want a red carpet rolled out also. When we
Oh, do you think he's going to give you the hookup?
Can I get bottle service while I'm there, Bellotti? No, everything's been planned. We're going out there. So if any of you guys have never been to New York or you're near the Brooklyn area, you should find your way out there June 1st, Saturday, and all hang out at Kaiju Brooklyn. I'm excited. Anthony, are you excited?
Where are we going?
I'm pumped.
Yeah, me too.
We are going to be sharing a Airbnb in Manhattan, Anthony.
Yeah. Oh,
I wish I could see footage of that.
And my goal is going to try to be to embarrass Anthony as much as possible before he can embarrass me.
Can you walk around naked just one night?
I was going to tell you this when we got there, but I do sleep in the nude, so I hope that's not going to be a problem.
Oh, jeez. You're like translucent, though.
Yes.
So I'm not sure if you sleep nude. What does that? You're like an albino.
I'm like
I think he's being haunted by a ghost.
Yeah, it's like a giant nightlight is on in the corner of the room.
Or we're just going to see like all the arteries and veins.
You ever been to that?
You're going to be the inside. You're going to be like, it's just going to be like a network of veins and arteries.
You know that,
why are you glowing?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know that exhibit at the museum where you can see through the person's body, and you see that's what I look like when I take my clothes off. Or I just become invisible, right? Like the Invisible Man. That would be great.
Oh, you don't become invisible.
Anyways, Kaiju Brooklyn, June 1st. Join us. Okay, moving on. The other crazy, fantastic forecasting news, and we're talking about how this cast is getting big, maybe getting too costly. John fucking Malkovich joins the Fantastic Four in a secret role.
Oh, shit.
What the fuck? Is he the voice of Herbie?
Didn't you say someone else was the voice of Herbie the
No,
other day?
Paul Walter Hauser last week. That was the big story. Paul Walter Hauser, I think he's Mole Man.
Oh.
What about John Malkovich?
I don't know. Anthony, first of all, are you excited for Malkovich to be in this movie?
I love
Is he Dr. Doom?
It's fucking great. Oh, what if he's Dr. fucking Doom?
Nah, he's like 100 years old. How old is he?
Yeah, he's old. He's in his
Yeah, but he doesn't exist except for when he takes the mask off.
No,
John Malkovich
Doom's
is 70 years old.
Doom's got to be closer in age to Reed, I would think.
Cyrus the Virus, let's go.
Yeah, Cyrus the Virus.
Anara.
Maybe everybody is being played by John Malkovich and they just put his head on all the Fantastic Four. That would also be funny.
What if he's this is the same character from being John Malkovich?
Yeah, what if he's just that guy? Some people said Puppet Master. The people kept throwing out like Puppet Master or Mole Man for Paul Walter Hauser.
What is your favorite John Malkovich role?
Oh my god! Hold on, we're gonna pull this up.
You have to look it up.
Jesus, I
Look it
mean,
up, bro.
Con Air is fantastic.
That's your favorite John Malkovich?
It's not my favorite. And being John Malkovich, him playing himself is also fantastic. What would be
He was in Dangerous Liaison
the
as Valmont.
standout Malkovich? I can't think of one.
Transformers: Dark of the Moon.
Oh god, he was in Transformers.
He's been in he has no shame. If you look at his list,
all over the
he does
place.
2 or 3 movies a year.
Yeah, he's in like Zoolander too. Like he shows up in weird.
He's in everything. He was in
places.
4 movies in 2023.
Oh god, he was in Jonah Hex. Also, why?
He's like Bruce Willis towards the end, except not straight to
Well, he was in Rounders. He was great in that.
Or Nick
In The Line of Fire, he was great as well.
he's great in that movie. Yeah, it's like a
And I
Nick
already
Cage.
said
It's like a Nick
Dangerous
Cage.
Liaisons, he's good in it as well.
He's the opposite of like carefully picking his roles. He's like, you put it on the table and there's some money, I'll do it.
Him and Nick Cage will just do whatever. It doesn't matter.
No, yeah, you're right.
I
They'll just do
mean,
anything.
of Mice and Men as Lenny, that's pretty good.
Oh yeah, with Mice and Men, that is.
But him and being John Malkovich he's kind of playing himself, but that's a fucking great movie. But it adds a little bit of something to Fantastic Four. So, what do you guys think about this cast? We got Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Ebon Boss Baccarat, whatever, how you say his name, Joseph Quinn, Julia Garner, Paul Walter Hauser, Ralph Ineson, and now John Malkovich. Is this an expensive cast? I don't know.
A lot of old people. Yeah.
There is. I mean, I think, again, Pedro is like the biggest star. Maybe, I don't know, with the Malkovich. Yeah, I don't know. It's very weird. It's a very quirky cast.
Yeah, there's a lot of unknowns still, which is
I can see the teenagers going wild for this.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I think with the cast they've gotten so far, they're definitely appealing to Imran's demographic.
Maybe a little bit. And
how many dudes can we get that are in their boxers and are between the ages of 41 and 47
to come to show up?
You could still have a Cillian Murphy or Mads Mikkelsen for Doctor Doom. They were in talks.
You got to go younger. I feel like
you got to go younger.
Although, yeah, maybe not.
Matt Shackman is directing, and they did say it will take place in the 60s, or at least start in the 60s.
I got a casting thing that you didn't put on here.
Oh, yeah. Who's that? Who do you got?
What's his name? Chris Pratt came out and said that he's definitely going to be Star-Lord again in the MCU, but that if and when James Gunn calls him, he's going to be in the DCU as well.
And I mean, Gunn will probably hire a lot of the Guardians of the Galaxy people.
Oh, Batista definitely wants.
Yeah, in the DC movies. But yeah, he said 100%. He's like, let's do both. He said, well, it probably makes more sense that I would be Star-Lord again. Anything is possible. Maybe there's something that will be right over there. Maybe both. How about both? Let's do both. I think it's 100% both. You can't trust anything fucking actors say, though. I don't know what this means, but that is... We knew Peter Quill is coming back and said it at the end of the last movie.
Right. Yeah, I think my friend Erwin pointed out that the perfect role for him, everyone would probably think Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
But the perfect role for him is Booster Gold.
Oh, yeah. He would be he'd be the same. That's Chris Pratt. I mean, that's Star-Lord, essentially.
Right.
Just an asshole funny guy.
From the future.
Well, let me segue to this for Ruggs. I'm going to jump to this one. I'll come back to this other thing I have. Ruggs, Frank Grillo news. Get ready.
Oh, yeah.
Frank Grillo, who will be voicing Rick Flag Sr. in the upcoming Creature Commandos animated show. That's going to be the first thing from the new DC studios. James Gunn has said that Frank Grillo will also be playing Rick Flag Sr. live action in Peacemaker Season 2.
You know me, but who are you?
Who are you?
That's such a deep cut. You got to play that clip, otherwise people are like, "What is he talking?"
I'll play it at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, it'll be at the top.
It'll be at the top of the show. He's just here for the dick jokes, just like us.
I'm just here for the dick jokes. I love Frank Grillo. He hasn't been in anything big in a while, and it's great that he's going to make an appearance on a show that I'm going to probably watch, most likely. I like Peacemaker a lot.
Yeah.
So, hey, let's get Grillo before he gets too old. He's going to be 50, 60 soon.
Yeah, he's still got plenty of years ahead of him.
Yeah, he's taking the HGH.
Something.
He's doing all that stuff.
That and Ozempic will keep you young forever. That's all you need.
Sure.
But remember, Peacemaker killed Rick Flag in the James Gunn movie.
Oh, they might have to have a little bit of a fight or something.
Yeah,
right?
so is he gunning for the Peacemaker? What's his real name? I can't even remember.
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker's name. Wasn't it just like John or something? I forgot his name. Oh, Christopher Smith.
There you go.
It was something generic.
Very memorable name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the thing. That's why I couldn't remember. Fucking Christopher Smith.
A unique name.
Yo, give Grillo all the roles. So he could be Crossbones. He's going to be Rick Flag Sr. It's great.
They blew it. They should have made him the Punisher, but they blew it.
Yeah. See, now I think he's a little too... He's a little too old.
I offered you a chance to be a cop, and you blew it!
A little too old to be the Punisher now. Okay, last thing in the news.
Yes.
This is from Bob Iger confirming stuff we've been talking about. That Disney is now doing a quality over quantity approach and not put out 9 fucking things in a year and all of them be not great or kind of shit. He has confirmed moving forward, they're going to do 2 to 3 movies a year and 2 shows per year. I think this is a great strategy.
Yeah,
I feel like it's a strategy, but I think a better strategy is let's hire people who like comic books and know about them.
Well, yeah.
Because you just watched X-Men, right? The new X-Men.
Yeah.
They're ripping stuff right out of the comics, right?
Yes.
Like
a lot of
what happened in the last episode, that happened in a comic book.
Yeah.
So it's not, but people are loving the show. It's not a mystery why.
But here's the thing, right? I'll agree. They're flying through storylines, but I think it's setting up a bad precedent for live action X-Men, this show, because how would you adapt this show? You can't really adapt. It wouldn't work in live action, really, the way they're doing it.
Well, they're blowing through stuff because they have a shot to do it and they're going to do it. But if you look at the whole X-Men show, they've done everything. Yeah, they've done the Dark Phoenix. They've done it all.
Caught up on all the storylines from when the show went off the air. Anthony, do you think this is a good strategy? And should they hire showrunners for TV and movie people for movies?
I mean, the whole reason a lot of this went down shit was because they were forced to put more content out through Disney Plus, and they were doing 4 to 5 shows plus 3 to 4 movies.
It's all Bob Chapek's fault.
And it all, the quality control really went down. There was just no way. They were just hiring people just to fill spots rather than, parsing through stuff and making sure that they had the right people in the right roles. So,
well, they had this attitude that they could just hire, and you didn't have to like the property or anything. You just have to be a writer and whatever.
They thought they were untouchable.
Yeah.
They thought they knew how to do everything awesome all the time, and they got cocky and they hired the wrong people.
Well, I think there's an idea that there's this one magic bullet for everything, and they're like, oh, this method that we have where we have a bunch of people that know shit, and then they're going to now work with these people who don't know shit that are writing these things, and then they're going to figure out the happy medium, and that's not what happens. Mm-hmm. And it's a case-by-case basis, right? So sometimes you have a guy who knows nothing about it, but understands something very, very important about what it is, and then he makes a good movie. And then you got someone who's a fan and understands it, but wants to put themselves in it too much, and then they're like too all over it. Mm-hmm. So there's it's a case-by-case basis, and you have to find the right person for each job. And they haven't been doing that lately.
Well, I mean,
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I think Matt Shackman is a good pick for Fantastic Four. He delivered with WandaVision. He gets it. But then Sean Levy doing this Deadpool movie, this is going to be interesting because this will be his first Marvel movie, and it's kind of outside the reverence for the brand on purpose. So that's going to be interesting.
So there was this other thing that came out today on comicbook.com. Speaking of shows,
yes,
did you see this about Agatha?
Oh, yeah. This is really funny. I don't understand what they're doing with this fucking show.
Let me recap.
Yes.
So, the Agatha show, which is to be determined, supposed to come out sometime this year.
Yeah.
Originally called House of Harkness.
Right.
Then Coven of Chaos.
Right.
Then Darkhold Diaries.
Yes.
It leaked and got deleted on Marvel's social media that the title was going to be Agatha, the Lying Witch with Great Wardrobe.
This has got to be a joke.
The fuck?
What? What are you doing?
Well, it's a play on
the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. But that's just, it's dumb, and there's too many fucking words. And I'm concerned about this show if they can't even figure out what to call it. Because does it keep changing? I don't understand why this show...
I don't think the title... clearly the title doesn't matter if they're changing it 4 times.
It should just be called Agatha at this point. But it's also funny that they would put... there's a logo. They made a full logo and then just deleted it right away. Now, did somebody fuck up? Was this a joke? Are they trolling?
They're just trying to avoid getting, trending on Twitter for being shitty.
Agatha, the Lying Witch with Great Wardrobe. I was like, what?
That's terrible.
What?
That's not even close to good. Yeah. Anywhere near it.
All of those other titles were
the other titles
fine.
Are all just so generic.
Any one of them would have been fine.
Well, they're all alliteration. So it's House of Harkness,
yes,
Coven of Chaos, Darkhold Diaries, and now they're just going, well,
let's do the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe for no reason. Yeah, that's dumb. That's dumb, but No, I think, look, Marvel, just give me, look, you do a movie, then a TV show, then a movie, then a TV show, then a movie. There's your year. Done. Nicely spaced out. Everything can have a little bit of quality control. There's no need to get crazy.
Just, as Ruggs would say, just make it like the comics.
I really don't give a shit.
Just make it like the comics. Yes, and hiring. So next year, we're going to get 4 MCU movies. One of those is moving, if not 2. Yeah. On the docket, technically, Captain America, Brave New World, Thunderbolts, Asterisk, Fantastic Four, and Blade.
Blade will get moved.
Blade will get pushed, and maybe Fantastic Four gets pushed later in the year. But that's too many. But even though we only have 1 this year.
That's what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. They're finally paying attention. It's a long process to get back to where they were. They're going to get there.
You have a lot of faith in Ron.
Give him some time.
Very faithful.
Give him some time. Look,
Full of faith.
they've had a rough time for a few years, and then they give it another couple years, and it's going to be right back.
You'd be a good crypto buyer.
Right back around. NFTs will come back. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's coming back. Everything's going to come
NFT I
back.
bought in 2020. It's going to be good. Okay, let's take
Imran's interesting because some things like media, he's glass half full.
Yeah.
But then if there's anything that has to do with the end of the world or some sort of
I'm all
conspiracy, he's glass half empty. He's all like,
because
this is it. Yep, it's happening.
Because
We're fucked.
it's exciting. It's like
He
a movie.
wants it to happen.
It's like a movie.
Remember when Imran during COVID was like, "Oh my God, is every movie and show going to be about COVID? Okay, what are we going to do?"
There was a few. You'll notice people are setting things on purpose, like in 2019 and stuff, so that it could still be like back in the day. Sometimes.
Back in the day.
Yeah, in the old world. Back in the old world. Listen, bird flu is coming, so we're not out.
Well, speaking of flus, we're going to talk about a movie that had the flu.
Yes, we're going to take a break here, play some promos, and we're going to go ape with a virus and a flu. And
a simian flu.
And a simian flu right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey there, everyone. Brian here, host of TV Trivia Pod. It's a trivia-style podcast focusing on TV and movies. Listen in for questions like, what's the name of Michael Scott's screenplay? What do you say to view the Marauders map? And what's everyone eating in the post-credit scene of Avengers? Play along to TV Trivia Pod anywhere you get podcasts. And stay tuned for more trivia.
What's up, Jock and Nerd Nation? This is Logan at Mostly Superheroes, a podcast that was partly inspired by the Jock and Nerd podcast. We talk about a lot of the same stuff, MCU, DC heavy, with other content that comes out of HBO Max, Amazon Prime, Netflix, and more. We're committing to doing something new every day in 2021, so come join the fun, check out the schedule. Find us at mostlysuperheroes.com and enjoy the rest of the show.
Jock and Nerd.
Listener, if you enjoyed this podcast, this is a great time to give back, support the show, join our Patreon fan club. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Jock and Nerd. And you can support us on a monthly or annual basis, and you get stuff like access to a bonus podcast feed where the shows come out early. There's instant reactions to movies, bonus content, bonus clips. You can join us on our monthly Discord hangout, where it's a lot of fun. It's like we do this show, only it's interactive, and you're there. And
you can talk to us. We can talk to you. You can see Imran.
We make dick jokes on the fly. You can see the magic happen.
With my fly?
With my fly? Yes. This month's Discord, by the way, it's this week, Thursday, May 16th.
Oh, Jesus.
So it's been 4 weeks already. I know. A month goes by. Ruggs, I expect you there. Anthony, I don't know.
When is it? Next week?
No, it's this Thursday. This Thursday night.
Maybe.
Okay. We got a solid maybe. That's as good as it gets. And there's other great stuff, and it's a great way to support the show and help us keep the show going every week like we have been for 9+ years.
Oh, my God.
Jesus, has it been 9 years?
Yes, over 9 years.
Jesus Christ.
Of this weekly bullshit. You're welcome.
I was just a millennial back. I mean, I'm still a millennial, but back then you guys could make fun of me for being a millennial, but now we have a whole generation of kids.
I know.
And two more.
It's like two. Yes. Now it's all skibbity toilet and gyat, and I don't know what the fuck's going. Gyat. Skibbity Ohio, you fuckers. Anyway,
Yeah, Phantom Tax.
Yeah, you got to get that Phantom Tax. Let me eat those fries. Anyways, we're not here to talk about Gen Alpha. Let's get to this week's movie review. The Apes are back. This is the third ape movie of the year. We will be reviewing Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. And here's your spoilers. I'm going to do it like this.
You blew it up! Damn you!
Oh, Jesus.
God damn you all to hell!
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
You got to start with that clip. Come on.
He was angry.
He is very angry, Charlton Heston. And you can see why. The Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is the fourth installment, the sequel, the beginning of a new trilogy, a lot of things to War for Planet of the Apes that came out in 2017, 7 years ago.
It's also the 9th overall installment, though.
It's the 10th overall.
Oh, 10th, is it?
Yeah, it's the fourth installment in this reboot since 2011, I believe. 10th film overall, because you're forgetting the Tim Burton movie that we do not talk about.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
We'll go over all of them, but seeing as how the first movie came out in 1968, this is technically the longest running like American sci-fi movie franchise at 56 years and going. It's kind of crazy.
Well, this is also, the longest American, and really one of the only, like one of the first franchises ever.
Sure.
All that was around back then was Godzilla.
Yeah.
Which is Japanese.
Yeah.
Bond.
Oh, yeah.
And like the Universal monster stuff. But like franchises weren't really a thing.
This predates Star Wars.
This is kind of the one that started a lot of the franchises.
Yeah. Before, the first 5 movies came out before Star Wars, but you're right. And you didn't really have a sci-fi franchise like
I think
this.
I'm going to say right now, I think it's the most underrated franchise.
You know what? I think I would agree. I think you're right. We forget. 56 years and it's still going strong.
Not only movies, but you think about it had TV shows and cartoons and
comic
toys
books,
and comic books.
All of this started from a book written by this French dude, Pierre Boulet, in 1963.
Was it called like Ape Planet or something?
Yeah, it's like Monkey Planet or something.
Monkey Planet.
But so they called it Planet of the Apes. On Rotten Tomatoes, let's get to the score. So I'm just gonna deal with this current franchise we have. Rise of the Planet of the Apes, 2011, 82% on the tomato meter. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes from 2014, 91%. War for the Planet of the Apes 2017, 94%. Kingdom comes in at 80% tomato meter, 79% audience score. Okay, it's interesting. This movie's budget is around $160 million. And here's your opening weekend rundown. Rise opened to $54 million opening weekend. Okay. Dawn opens to a much larger $72 million opening weekend. War comes in at $56 million opening weekend. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes pulling in $58.5 million opening weekend.
Oh, shit.
Second biggest opening weekend for the franchise.
What about internet, like all the total?
Total, it's at $131 million worldwide, 72
I read that it beat expectations.
Yes, it was projected to open around 50, and it opens above at 58. Now, Rise made $481 million. Dawn made $720 million. War makes $490 million. These movies all perform pretty well, and the budget is in between like War and Dawn. But I think
what's crazy about that budget is, it's a high budget, but it's not like Marvel.
Yes,
where it's $200 to $300 $300 million budgets, and we'll comment on this later. But
yes,
I mean it's just impeccable the amount of
you're absolutely
way that
right.
these apes look.
Yeah, it's $160 million is a lot, but it looks better than some $200-300 million movies. This one picking up the direction is Wes Ball, directed by not Matt Reeves. Wes Ball is known for the Maze Runner set of movies. Okay. But also you have written by Josh Friedman, who wrote on Apple's Foundation, Avatar 2, Snowpiercer, the TV show, Terminator Dark Fate, War of the Worlds, and then producers Rick Jaffa and Amanda Silver, who actually shepherded the original Reeves trilogy and also worked on Jurassic World, Avatar 2. They're like a married couple that kind of writes and produces together. So you still have the same kind of producers from the Matt Reeves trilogy doing this one, which is very important. This one starring not a lot of big names here, but names that people may know, although you don't see them because they are apes. Owen Teague in the lead as Noah. Freya Allen as one of the few humans, May or Nova. Kevin Durand, not the basketball player. Kevin Durand, he's Canadian, playing Proxima Caesar. Peter Macon playing Raka. You got Ika Darville as Silva. Travis Jeffrey as Anaya. And who plays, I think that's the main cast of people. They're all...
Was the orangutan?
Oh, Raka was Peter Macon. Oh, and William H. Macy.
Oh, he's in that.
Surprise human that I did not know he was in this. This movie's PG-13, and it's the longest one of these movies yet.
Oh, really?
2 hours and 25 minutes. Each of these movies from Rise has been getting longer and longer. This one is the longest movie yet. Anthony, I want you to give us the plot of what happens in Kingdom, but let's get a baseline. You're a big apes guy. How much do you love the apes? And if you want to go to give a quick rundown of where we are when this movie starts, or something.
So I, for whatever reason, I watched all the Planet of the Apes movies as a kid. I caught some sort of AMC rerun, and I loved all of them. And I've been hooked ever since. Surprisingly, I've never watched the 2001 version. I heard that was bad, and I just never got around to it.
Yeah.
So one of these days, I'll watch that.
It's worth a watch to be completist if you're going to do that.
Yeah, I'll probably watch it one day. But then this new Apes trilogy that's, started by Rupert Wyatt, I've just adored every single one of them. I think they're all awesome. They're way better than they have any right to be in the everything's. I mean, it's like epic Roman Greek tragedies, these these movies. I mean, they're just so good.
Shakespearean.
So I have a huge love for the Apes franchise. And you wanted me to summarize what's happening in this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, plot synopsis. So basically, at the end of War of the Planet of the Apes, Caesar has led the apes like Moses to the oasis. They're free, they can live in harmony, and they have humans, a human there as well, and Caesar's dream can live forever as he dies. And this movie opens up with Caesar being dead, and the movie jumping ahead 200 to 300 years, let's say. Several generations.
It says many generations. I guess that could be 300
Caesar
years.
at this point is more of a god, mythic-like figure. And we're following this small town tribe of clan of apes that live sequestered, don't really interact with anybody, and they come across this kingdom of apes, let's say, that are enslaving apes and have perverted Caesar's teachings for their own means. And so they get enslaved, and we follow this wide-eyed ape or chimpanzee named Noah, who's unaware of the greater world around him, but has to try to save his clan from this ape kingdom that's enslaved them, while also learning more about the world and dealing with a human wild card that comes into play as well.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on. All right. When this was over, what did you think?
Oh man, I what a wonderful movie. I loved it. I was fully engrossed the entire movie. I love the Apes movies. I was a little on the fence when I heard this was announced, given that the trilogy is just so good.
Yeah.
I don't know why they needed to make another one, but then I saw the trailers and I was going, this looks good. And I was happy to say that, coming out of the movie that I saw, it was awesome. I feel like they just have the right formula with, even if they plug in another director, it still feels with the right the same universe.
Yeah.
The things I wrote down are like, it just, they really seem to care about the franchise.
Yeah.
They put a lot of thought into things. Like, I love the aspects of the apes being, 200, 300 years. So they've evolved. They're now not like cavemen. They're more evolved. And I saw this interview with Wes Ball that I thought was interesting, and you can see it in the movie, where the apes are like humans, where it's like they've moved on from the Stone Age to like the Bronze Age.
Yeah, like cavemen did, yeah.
Right? Yeah. But what's interesting and cool that they play with is, because they're doing this on top of human evolution and civilization, there's all these like little cheat codes.
Yeah.
Like there's all this metal that's around that they don't have to invent.
Right.
And then like there's resources that if they stumble upon them, like a bunker or like information, they can accelerate their evolution.
Yeah.
So it's like this like weird thing that like they've created, and you can see that playing out on screen. And then you have kind of the perversion of Caesar's teachings, and like, as apes get smarter, do they just become like humans? And then you have the interactions with the humans and the apes, and then you have Proximus. And there's just so many things. I loved it. I was enamored with the whole thing. I truly enjoyed it. I loved the ending, where it kind of sets up like some hope, but then also some imminent danger.
Yeah.
I love all the themes. I love that it's from this perspective of Noah, who hasn't really been in the outside world, and is all of a sudden in there. And I saw someone, I think Wes Ball also said this. I might have been Wes Ball or someone else, but he said, "I'm making Apocalypto with apes."
Oh.
And if you've, obviously we've all seen Apocalypto, and that's kind of a similar story.
Oh, yeah.
So I loved it.
Okay.
I thought it was great. I can't wait to talk more about it. But
Rex, opening impressions.
I was very happy that there wasn't a dramatic shift from the other series. I feel like it keeps the same reality level of seriousness and level of drama than the Reeves series did.
Yeah.
And I was very happy about that. I think it's a very good movie. I think it's very good. I think it's a little long. I think that my biggest takeaway, my biggest strike against it is that it seems like a little long, and that if we're gonna, I don't mind a 2.5 hour movie, but if you're gonna have that time, let's fill it up with stuff that that we could get into. And a lot of it was spent on character development, which is great. And I feel like Noah is a very strong character, and he does go through an arc in his story, and he has to rise to the occasion. But I also would have liked to have seen more of the bad guy. I would have liked to see more of like that developed a little bit more. I would have liked to see a little bit more of the humans develop a little bit more, because there's a lot going on here.
There is.
And it's good. There's nothing bad about this movie other than it's very deliberate in what it wants to show, and it kind of indulges itself a little bit on that. Mm-hmm. But I think if you're going in for a narrative and a heroic story, you're going to get it. You're going in for like a seriously made film by people who really care about what they're doing. That's what you're going to get. I was at a screening, and multiple people walked out of it about when it was an hour left.
Really?
In the movie. Yeah, they were like, "Oh my god!" And
really interesting.
Yeah, I had like most of them were teenagers.
Oh,
I had multiple snorers in the movie.
Oh, really?
People snoring. I had the woman sitting next to me brought alcohol to the theater and a cup, and so she had like a cup, and she would just get a 40 and pour it into the cup and drink it.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I think that she must have been on something, because she was like really jittery, and then she got up in the middle of the movie and left. So I found that to be curious, but I did understand that it was taking its time, and maybe that's probably why the audience score is a little low.
Yeah, the score is
let me
interesting.
interject real quick, because I had the opposite experience. I saw the movie on a Thursday night, and there were surprisingly a lot of young dudes in there.
Yeah.
And the entire previews, everyone was kind of talking and chattering. I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
This is going to be one of those kind of movies.
Yeah.
But as soon as the lights came down and the movie turned on, it was like dead silent, and everyone was like enamored and watching it the entire time. And then afterwards, Like the teenagers were all talking about like, oh, well, like they were talking about aspects of the movie and what they thought was cool or what made sense or whatever. So
They were
I had
into
a
it.
different experience for sure.
I had in front of me, there was a guy during the previews, right until the movie started. He was finishing up War for Planet of the Apes. And I was watching it with him because he was like right in front of me. I was like, this is great. I forgot what happened at the end of this movie. So he's watching it on his phone. And then the guy next to me did check his phone a couple of times. It's a long movie. Here, I rather enjoyed this movie. I think the tone, like you said, Ruggs, it's absolutely true. It keeps the same consistent tone as that first set of the trilogy. And that's all, I think, because of Rick Jaffa and Amanda Silver being on the project. This is kind of like their baby. And they kept the tone similar.
It was nice that they did that.
Yeah. So, playing right into, it starts off with his funeral. And you just jump right in. I think it's a great extension of the world building and the Caesar mythology and how it's twisted. And Caesar is missed. Caesar's a great character, but his presence is felt. And I did get to love Noah. I love the production design, the way everything looked. The fucking CGI is so stunning. It's Avatar level good. Easily. It's Weta. And most of the time, I was just staring at the screen going, how the fuck is this not real? What am I watching? How's this even possible?
Yeah.
Also, I will confess, my sister gave me this candy bar she got at this cannabis conference. Yeah. And it was, it's synthetic psilocybin, hallucinogenic, like what's in mushrooms. So you can microdose. It's like a Hershey bar, right? And the microdose is like 2 pieces. So I ate 2 pieces. And they were kicking in right as the movie started. And as far as the length, it felt longer, but I was in every second because the colors were popping and it was vibrant. And then the CGI, I was just stunned. I was like, holy shit, what am I watching? This is wild. But I will say it's long, but I really liked the first half of the movie where you're just hanging out with them for a long time. You're learning about this world. You have to establish these characters. You do get to know these characters. It's the whole movie is clearly a part 1 of like 2 more parts, right? In fact, they want to make 9 movies total. They have ideas for 5 more.
Whoa.
Yeah, so 3 trilogies probably leading up to the original, which is great. And then, but you're right, Proximus doesn't come in until way late in the game. But when he does come in, he's fucking compelling and just great and larger than life. And what a wonderful world. And just the way he talks.
What a wonderful day.
I love his gestures where he's like, apes will learn. I will learn. Yeah. And I love how he keeps calling it he's like, what did you say about my vaults? What is that about my vaults? It's just like,
have you heard the theory of evolution?
Oh, yes, that's great. Kevin Durant did great. Every time he said evolution was fucking fantastic.
Apes will learn. I will learn.
I will learn. And just how he's like, apparently also Kevin Durant like modeled that whole thing after Elon Musk because a lot of people say he looks like
the speech pattern.
Elon Musk, yes, the speech pattern and his acting.
Humans in their time could talk across oceans.
It's so good. It was great. So it was long, but like I could have hung out with them for another hour on this fucking.
I feel the same way. It was long, and I get that criticism, and I also get the criticism that the movie you don't really know what you're driving towards until Proximus shows up, which is almost like halfway through the movie.
Yes, that was the other thing I was thinking.
I was definitely more in the boat of I can just hang out here and watch these guys walk around.
Yeah,
because I was just so enamored, 1, with the CGI, but 2, like they had just great, like Noah's really good.
Yeah,
and then you meet Raka, and he's awesome.
Raka is fantastic.
And then you have the wild card with Nova, aka May. And she like is a little like a little wild card. And then you have also the fucking gorilla.
Yeah, Silva, the bad
Silva.
The army.
So every time you meet someone, it like adds a little thing to the plot.
Yeah.
And like I love Raka's character of being like a true Caesar acolyte and like wearing the thing, and we call them Nova.
Because they name her Nova, which is the Easter egg, right? And he's like, during Caesar's time, we called them all Nova. Everybody, this is the third Nova.
The war of the planet. And I thought it was just genius that they didn't go with a part 4.
Yeah,
it is a part 4, but they don't do like Cornelius's story. They do this like story, like what would it look like in terms of ape evolution when Caesar's been gone for a while? What is his teachings become 300 years later?
So it's fascinating. Like, where is ape society at this point, right? They've clearly broken up into little clans.
Right.
Noah has never heard of the word name Caesar. Like, he doesn't know anything about any of this.
Well, also too, something I saw in a review that Sean Chandler pointed out that I'm gonna mention here because I think it is really genius, is by doing it the way they did it, like, we as audience know what Caesar's history is. So we know more than the characters on screen.
Yeah.
So we understand that, like, whoa, they're fucking perverting this, or how do you not know about Caesar?
Yeah.
But the thing is, we don't know what that world is like.
Right.
So we're still learning about that world, but then we know more than the characters on screen about Caesar, but they know more about that world than us. So we're still like in this like weird mode where we're learning, but also like, no, you're fucking getting that wrong. Like, Proximus is like, he calls himself Proximus Caesar.
Yeah,
and he's like
the next Caesar,
saying that apes together strong, but he's enslaving them. Like, he's completely twisted it.
Yeah, he's being very literal with apes together strong. And
maybe apes stronger tomorrow.
And they
can't open the vault.
Yeah, and they use the together stronger chant, right? And it's kind of like, you're kind of like, that's not what Caesar fucking meant. You guys,
Right.
But it's the whole thing. It's like a hero, turns into a story, turns into mythology, turns into a god, and you don't know what the real truth is.
I mean, all the religious crusades and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's all just perverting the teaching.
The movie is this whole series, like all the movies, they're always very thoughtful and they always have something to say about stuff, which I appreciate. And this is no different. So I like in the beginning, Caesar's funeral, he gets his flowers, I thought of, because they put the flowers on him. Get it? Give him his flowers.
Like the kids say?
Yeah, like the kids say. And then you cut ahead and you see that symbol everywhere, the window.
Right.
I love seeing that. And I love just the buildings. I think they're in Los Angeles because you see like Dodger Stadium, LAX.
They're in LA.
The buildings covered with tree, nature, claiming everything back. It's fucking such a great, cool looking. It reminded me of like The Last of Us, or the Vault stuff reminded me of Fallout. And then, so they're the Eagle Clan. This is very interesting. These apes have decided that we will raise and train eagles. Which, of course,
I thought that was cool too.
Yeah. And I love the whole little bit where he's like, we leave one egg. You can't take them all. But that was a great scene, getting the eagles.
I love that they like just jump you right in. They don't explain like, oh, we're the Eagle Clan. Yeah. And they kind of just throw you in, and then you're kind of picking up on things as they go along. Like, oh, this is an initiation, and they train the eagles, and the eagles are a big part of them. And then, later on, they call the humans echoes, and they're just like, they don't explain it. Like, oh,
yeah, why do you think they called them echoes? Because they're an echo of the past, maybe, kind of something?
I was thinking maybe because they don't really speak much.
Oh, okay.
So it's just like they make noises.
I don't know why they call them
echoes.
Why
they call them echoes?
I think what they're doing, though, letting it unfold, like this kind of storytelling, this kind of narrative storytelling is refreshing after you get spoon-fed stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's nice that but you do it well throughout the film, and it does shed light on a lot of things. I think I mentioned this in my review. It's like they eventually do get to a lot of these answers.
Yeah.
They're there.
Yeah. Like even the cattle prod and the taser. Remember when we watched the trailer? We are like, what the fuck is that? Where's this electricity? And they explain it, and it's it makes sense. The story structure is great, right? So the human runs upon them, and he ends up cracking his egg, and he's got to get another one. And then you see these fucking warriors on horseback, and the whole message that, like, it doesn't matter what species. At some point, everyone just enslaves everybody else. Like, they're making the same mistakes humans made, not knowing it.
The more aware you are of the world around you and what your place is in the world, the more maybe the human nature, in this case ape nature, starts to set in, where you're like, oh, we can enslave them.
Yeah.
We can do this.
I think what happens is slavery is in place of technology, right?
Yeah.
So when you don't have enough technology to replace manpower, then you just need manpower, and no one wants to do that shit.
Yeah.
So you got to make them do it.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
So that's kind of like, when in the Bronze Age, in that time when things were happening and these civilizations were starting to take hold, that's how everything got done, right? So they're echoing that in humanity.
What do you think built all those castles in fucking England and shit? Right?
And what's funny about that is like they because they don't have technology, they're enslaving people, but they're doing that because they want the cheat code in that vault.
Well, yeah,
they want the tech. They want to accelerate their evolution.
He had no idea what was in there, but man, if he got his hands on that shit,
well, I love. I know I'm going to skip ahead, but while we're on it, I love that he like Trevathan, played by
William H. Macy,
is telling him stories about Roman Empire.
Yes, he's teaching him how to be a Roman dictator.
And he thinks he's a Roman, and that's why he's called himself Proximus.
Yes, he reads to them.
Right. But he has this like distorted view of like humans being able to fly.
Yeah.
And talk across it. Like he thinks that he considers it like literal.
Yeah.
Because he has no concept of what that means.
And he just wants that, and the power, absolute power, gets absolutely corrupted.
Well, the thing is he's still motivated by the fact that humans at one time did this. So like he wants that power, but he also knows if we don't get there,
right,
we'll lose this all. Like,
he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to go back into cages, right?
Right. So, he doesn't want to go back.
In a way,
in a way, he's kind of also right.
Yeah, you could see his motivation. Absolutely.
Right.
He's
like by this human telling me these stories, I know that at one point we were in cages, and if we don't like get into that vault, at one point we might lose all of it.
We're going to lose the power again. Absolutely. Right. And he's doing it for ape kind. He's doing it for and his own benefit.
Can I ask a weird question, and a question that's never been really maybe they have addressed it in the movie, but I don't know. So what happens to regular apes? They all die out, they get destroyed, and the new apes take over?
So apparently, I think it's just like natural selection. So I think they infected a lot of the apes in the West Coast, and then they just started fucking all the other apes.
Oh, sure. The not smart apes would die out then.
But then also, though, what happened in war, what was interesting in war was that, remember Bad Ape?
Yeah, Bad Ape was great. Steven Zahn.
Bad Ape was from Nevada, and they were they were all confused that he learned how to talk.
Yeah.
So something happened there too. Like natural selection started like weeding out the humans and making even the other apes pick up shit.
Oh, so so the simian flu only affected humans and made them die and
made them mute, according to
them mute.
And it initially killed them.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the other ones that were left made them mute and like primitive.
Yeah.
And there's a select few that still could survive the simian flu.
Well, we're led to believe now that a bunch of people were just hiding in.
Yep.
They were in underground and bunkers.
They were locked underground, and they just were like waiting it out.
Right.
For 300 years too. Because part of like when Nova or May shows up and she's got like a tank top on, I was like, where the fuck did she get that tank top?
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, how is she so well dressed?
Yeah, why did she got these clothes? So
she's hot.
Yo, you like the Freya Allen? Yeah, she's been in hasn't done much.
She's in Witcher.
Oh, she's in Witcher. Yeah.
I thought she was a great wild card too.
Yeah.
At first I was, all in. They should help her out. But then as the story's moving along and you're learning more about her, I'm like, oh, I don't know if we can trust her.
Yes.
And I'm having this weird thing where I'm rooting for the apes against her, but I'm also rooting for the apes against the other apes.
Against the other apes. I didn't know who to root for either. I was like, wait a minute. Whose side am I on? Who's like, I want Noah to survive, but now she's lying to him. That moment when she starts talking, the reaction is hilarious.
So good.
Right? He drops his thing. And that's when she tells them her name is May. She knows where their clan is, and she's going to take them to this. She has a map. She's going to take them to this settlement outside of this vault. I love the moments with the telescope.
That's great.
There's a lot of space illusions in this movie. If you notice, they're looking through the telescope a lot. There's the mural of the astronaut. There's he's looking at the mobile.
The first ever was obviously astronauts landing on the planet, and in Rise of the Planet of the Apes, towards the end of the movie, the Icarus, which is the ship in the first 1968 movie, it goes missing.
Takes off and goes. So apparently the year in this movie is 2328, approximately.
Right.
The original Planet of the Apes movies takes place in like 39, 78, something 39. So you could easily do like 2 more trilogies and get there, which is kind of interesting.
Well, the telescope thing is huge too, because one, they pick up on the fact that she's smarter.
Yeah.
Like the way she reacts.
Yeah.
But both of them, it's like kind of, they can see that there's more, like both of them have a real, like she's been underground for this whole time.
She was born into this world, which is crazy.
And she's been told stories of what humanity was.
Yeah.
So she's holding on to like, oh, this is what we were and what we should get back to. But then when he looks through it, Noah, he's just been living as like a caveman, basically.
Yeah.
So then when he sees it, he's like, oh, fuck, like there's a bigger world out.
Yeah.
Like there's more than just my little clan. Like,
yeah.
It opens up both of their eyes to like, oh my God, there's a lot more out here.
Maybe, does she see like a satellite, or was she looking for something?
She might have been. That's a good point.
Does she know about it?
Well, she does know about the satellite.
Yeah.
Well, like that's the thing that kind of bugged me a little bit, because it's one of these things in movies that they do on purpose. It's movie writing where there's a character that knows a lot of shit and could easily explain a ton of shit to the other characters, and they never do it.
It's just her.
Yeah.
Well, but isn't she? So I think I would say, isn't she purposely holding it back because she's using them? I don't think she fully trusts the apes either.
She's trying to blend in, which is why she didn't talk. But then my question was, why did she first?
But I think that would counteract the betrayal later.
Why was she following them? Because she just needed their help to climb the fucking side of the cliff.
She needed their help.
Yeah. I feel like that she needed protection from, she was getting attacked.
Yeah.
But I would be like, okay, she has all this information. If they find anything out later, they're going to feel like betrayed by her. And then she just say, listen, this is what's happening. And you could, withhold some information, but I feel like that's always bothered me. This girl knows so much and not saying anything. And there's so much thing that would be helpful to.
But Proximus was looking for her also, wasn't he?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, the thing is, though, she was intending to kill Noah.
Yes. At the end, she has a gun tucked in her back. In fact, I believe I read there was a scene, they shot it, where she pulls the gun on him while his back is turned and she can't bring herself to do it. But it was a lot more subtle. She was just there prepared. I didn't see that she was going to kill him. I thought she was just prepared in case.
Yeah. Well, it's got however you want to see it.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, going back. When they encounter the zebras and the feral humans, I love this scene. There's a couple of callbacks to the original movie. Like that scene where they're capturing them, and then that overhead shot in the field where they're running.
Yep.
That fucking scene is great, where she jumps and they're both trying to get her, and then Raka comes in with the fucking. He's all ape, not kill ape, but he'll knock a motherfucker out when he's got her. So that was a fantastic scene, which leads to them crossing the bridge, and they get ambushed, and Raka and May gets thrown in the water. Raka saves her. And then he gets thrown in the water, and then the Silva cuts the line, and Raka is swept away. And I was so sad. Maybe he's not dead.
I hope he's not dead.
He could be all right. Raka was fucking great.
Well, didn't he say though before that he looks at Noah? He's like, apes together, strong.
Yes, and he gave him the necklace.
Right.
And he really opened Noah's eyes.
Yeah, he's a big part of what Noah's like character art through that.
Then you notice as they're captured and they're taking
one thing too, real quick, is because of him meeting Raka.
Yes,
he has the teachings of Caesar that we all know are correct.
Yes, he knows. Yes,
he knows the real way of what Caesar was. And it motivates him.
They changed that line. Remember in the trailer, he goes, "They're hunting humans. That is wrong." But
that's not how it plays out.
That's not what he says. I forget when he says that is wrong, but it's the same idea.
He talks about how when he says that is wrong, he talks about how the law that Proximus is spewing about Caesar is wrong.
Is wrong, yes. So he knows the truth. It's like, yes, he would be considered a heretic. Really, somebody would. Also, you'll notice, so they're caught and they're taken to the beach encampment, and you see like the Scarecrow X things in the back. That's from the original too. I love
them walking along the beach is also a callback to the original.
That's like the end of the original, and I love like it's all rusted battleships and shit. And when you get to this prison camp, it's very much like a Roman encampment or a Colosseum or something with flags. And
it's also a callback to war.
Oh, yes.
Because war, the humans enslaved the apes, but this one, the apes are enslaving each other.
Yeah, see? Doesn't matter. Someone's always enslaving somebody else. Can't get away with it. But you see a vault door. You see them planting explosives. They built a wall to protect the water, and then Proximus comes in with his wonderful, what a wonderful day.
I love when they're pulling on and he's just going,
yes.
He's such a that character. I do wish we got more of that character because he's so engrossing.
Right
to
away,
watch.
right away, he has a presence.
Yeah, I would have loved to see his whole way of living. Like it feels like we just see him in like a throne room or whatever, and outside, but you don't really see the other things like the pageantry or anything like that. Does he have bitches? Like we don't know.
Yeah.
I bet he does.
What's he doing? He definitely.
I bet he's fucking all of them.
We saw Scar King had bitches.
I was gonna say this is a lot like Scar King and Godzilla X Kong down there. It's doing the same thing. Proximus, Scar King, who would win? I don't know.
He's such a charismatic villain.
Yeah.
Compared to what we've gotten in this series, Koba was more angry. This guy is he's just a ball. He's one of those great dictator orators.
Yeah.
That, he gets on stage and everyone's like, yeah, I'll follow.
Yeah, anything he says, I will do. This is also where we meet William H. Macy's character, and I was surprised that another fucking human came out. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And you find out that he fell and broke his ankles and they saved him, and now he's just doing whatever they want. He built those fucking cattle prods.
Yep.
And May has that great line where he's like, who are you? And she's like, I'm the one not helping the apes or something.
She hates the apes.
Yeah, that was crazy that he's just there reading to them.
Yeah.
And he can't get this vault open, right? They try, it doesn't work. Then they have a dinner. And this is where he starts to talk shit about May to Nova. And he's like, don't trust the humans. She knows more. To Noah. Yeah. Why does it have to be Noah and Nova? Fucking, can you think of any other things? But this is where he realizes that she knows more than she's letting on. And finds out, and then he confronts her and finds out the truth that she wants. She says she needs to get in this vault to get this book that will restore speech to humans. Right. And
I love that Noah's like, there's a book that does that?
Yes. And he agrees.
Oh, and there's the whole book thing too, where they're like, these words mean something.
Yes, words have meaning. They're symbols that have
symbols
meanings.
have meaning.
Yeah. So I wonder if they'll learn to read. Eventually they will. Yeah. And then, so Noah's going to help them with their plan. And with the character Anya is hilarious because remember in the beginning, he was all, Anaya, sorry. He was all scared and they were making fun of him.
Yep.
And then he's like, I don't want to go, I'm scared. But then he shows up anyways. So
this part of the movie I thought was a little suspicious.
Yeah.
How are they able to sneak around? And
oh my God. So they're just walking around
just
and
planning bombs
planning
everywhere.
explosives. It's the middle of the night, but nobody's watching them. The only person that sees them is Trevathan, who comes and tries to stop him. And May's like, look, you could join us. And then he's like, no, I'm going to tell Caesar. And she's like, well, I'm going to have to fucking kill you then. And I was like, holy shit. She just fucking choked him out and killed him. And then they just toss his body over.
Yeah, she starts to reveal that
Holy
she's
shit.
a little bit more, sinister than she seemed.
Yeah.
She's dark.
She will do what needs to be done.
I do like, before you move on, I do like the part right before this where when Noah rejects the law of Proximus, his dad's eagle lands on his arm.
Oh, that's right. Finally, because the eagle was pecking at him and they did not get along.
Right.
I love the detail of this eagle is following him this whole time.
Well, also the eagles are all there.
They're all on the bridge.
But his mom is like, oh, we have no use for them anymore.
They're not going to come here anymore.
Right.
He says we don't need them. Yeah, so his mom and his friends are fine, right? But they're imprisoned.
His dad is dead.
His dad dies because of Silva. That was a crazy scene too, where he falls and the guy cuts the rope and he sees, oh, that was bad. So now they got to make it up the side of the cliff to get in this entrance.
That's why she needs them.
That's the only reason she needs them, because they're the climbers and they kind of fall, but they make it. Here's another little great bit. When he hears her say shit and then he falls and
I love
catches
that.
himself and he just goes, shit. We're watching them learn how to swear. It's fantastic.
It's so good. Even that little thing, right? It's a little comedy bit.
It's so good.
It's oh, he learned shit earlier.
He learned shit. And then
he's now...
He knows how to use it.
Yeah, he's using it correctly.
It's like, shit. So they get in this fucking bunker.
It's like watching babies.
Yeah.
And like little kids.
We're watching them evolve. How soon do they get a fuck? That's what I want to know. When are they going to get from shit to fuck? Start swearing, apes. So in this military bunker, there's fucking tanks. There is weapons.
Yeah, there's everything.
There's a lot of stuff that
it looked like the humans had been living there for a while.
You do a lot of stuff you do not want Proximus getting his hands on. And this book is not a book. It is a SATCOM encryption key drive thing. So she finds that. Meanwhile, they find children's books of pictures of animals in cages in the zoo. He also finds that
they're wising up too to like,
they're like,
fuck,
wait a
if we
minute.
let these humans.
So this point where you're really like confused about who to root for, like who is really the apes, and they have that great conversation where he's like, "This is ape kind," and she's like, "Well, we were here first," and you're like, "Yeah, you're both right." Like who gets this?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, he not only sees the books, but he sees the space mirror.
Yes,
like
the mobile, the planets.
Yeah, mobile.
Yeah, and he looked into a lot of space imagery.
What's great is Noah, like Noah is literally evolving right before our eyes.
Yeah, he has an amazing arc in this movie. So they get the thing and they open the door. They have a plan, right? Except Proximus.
Not really sure what the plan was.
I'm not sure what they were like. I'll get my family. You set off the bombs. That was the plan.
I think she was like, I'll set it off. You have a couple minutes to get your family
everybody out. But Proximus and his army waiting for them, standing right there. And then May fucking they threaten Suna, and May pulls out a gun and fucking shoots them. This is the first look they got at weapons. And I love Proximus hiding behind them.
His reaction's great.
Yes, he's like, are there more of those?
He's like, are there more of those?
While he's hiding behind all of them.
Yeah.
Like a little bitch.
He's basically like, you can go, just let me have that.
Yes,
all of those.
He's drooling. He's like, I need that. I thought it was funny how Noah's face largely throughout this movie is just like a expression of surprise, like the whole time. He's just like, oh, what is this? What is this? So May runs off, sets off the explosives, flooding this whole fucking vault, and Noah's just like, climb. This is a great scene also. The water rushing in tight spaces with Silva chasing Noah, literally just busting down pipes to get to him. That was fantastic. And then he lets him drown.
Eventually gets stuck.
Yeah.
He's too big.
And I was like, oh shit.
And you just see a gorilla drown.
I know. I was like, oh fuck, Noah's gonna let him drown. So they get to the top, and of course, who's there? Proximus is there waiting for him, and he starts to beat the shit out of him. And then remember the Eagles? Remember the conversation he had about "Sing Me Your Bird Song"? My dad used to sing. And Raka asks him, and he doesn't do it well. He does it now. And this is actually pretty great. And I thought this is a very nice way to get the birds.
Full circle.
Get the birds involved. They all come and attack.
Well, because the movie starts with him trying to like do his initiation and get an eagle. And
and he's having problems. And you got to imagine his dad is disappointed that he can't fucking work with eagles. Like, I would be disappointed. Son, can't do anything right. But I love the last move where he literally kind of throws his eagle, and that one knocks Proximus over the side. Again, we don't see his body. He could be dead. He could be alive.
He's got to be dead.
That
was a lot. That was quite water.
But he was such a good villain. I don't want him to be dead. Maybe he comes back. So said threat is over. Everybody goes back. The clan goes back and rebuilds. And then May shows up. And she tells Caesar, humans deserve another chance since we were the once dominant species. And Noah's just like, do you think apes and man can coexist peacefully? And she's like, I don't know.
I interpret, and then here's the thing. I interpreted that she was about to kill him.
Yes, that's when you see the gun.
But then he gives her the necklace.
And he gives her the necklace, and
and that I'm almost 100% positive, like, she came in like, I'm going to use these apes, but at the end of the day, I'm just they're just like objects of my desire to get humanity back. But by meeting Noah and then him giving her that necklace, it's like putting that little thing in her of like, fuck, like, am I wrong? Should I be like, should we coexist? I don't know.
Absolutely, because all she knows is that apes enslave humans, right?
Right.
This is all
and
she
that
would
humans
know.
were great.
Yes.
And they were there first.
Yes.
And it's the flu that they apes had that made this happen.
So it's all because of the apes, and you're right, she is afraid of him. She doesn't know, but she needed his help. And I think she was like, I'm going to have to kill him.
Right.
But he gives...
Or at the very least, if you don't interpret that, she was definitely afraid of him.
Yeah.
Still.
She had protection, right?
Yeah.
But him giving her the necklace was a great symbol. So the necklace now has been passed from Caesar to Raka to Noah to May. And then, big twist at the end, you see May travel on her horse, and she goes to another human settlement, and the door is answered by a lady in a hazmat suit, and they run in, and there's all these fucking people, and they plug in the encryption key. They reactivate these fucking satellites and actually talk to people in Indianapolis, I think they were. Something.
Fort Wayne, yeah.
Fort Wayne, Indiana, telling us there's, for 300 years, somehow these people survived without getting affected by this fucking simian flu, which is crazy.
But while that's happening, Noah's taking his girl, Suna, to also look at the telescope and see that there's much more out there.
You got to see this.
So it's like...
This is going to blow your mind.
For me, it's like it's an ending that's like somewhat hopeful, but also like somewhat tragic.
Yeah.
Because they're both seeing what's out there, but then we're also like, oh, fuck, the humans and the apes are going to gear up again for another
They both didn't really come to trust each other.
Right.
And this now another threat, which is the humans possibly, or another clan. I'm like, how many other clans are out there? Where do we think any of these characters are descendants of Caesar?
I don't think.
Could you reveal that?
That doesn't need to happen.
Doesn't need to happen.
That doesn't even need to be. That would make it. That's too easy.
It would be too contrived, too convenient. I like that.
Let's talk about the bunker real quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like Fallout. Yes.
So they're living in the bunker for 300 years. There's other bunkers, obviously.
Yeah.
Correct.
That are still intact. That was a bunker that they wanted to get into that no one was living in for some reason.
Yeah. It was fully stuffed.
But you feel like America's probably got like a dozen of these bunkers.
Yeah.
And they sat out the whole simian flu. They're not infected. They have all of their... And I'm going to assume that these bunkers also have like all of human history and all the knowledge that we've accumulated up until then. They're probably running off nuclear fuel cells that could last for like 1,000 years or something.
Yeah, they're able to document all their history with books, whereas the apes, like the history gets twisted because they're just telling each other verbally.
So like I feel like that since they have all this knowledge and they know how to do everything, it would be very easy for humans to fucking just whoop their ass.
To come back?
Yeah.
How many are there? And
Well, that's the thing. We don't know how many there are.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of them, if they go outside without their hazmat suits and they could get infected.
Oh,
I think the infection part of is what like they have to really tread lightly with. I don't know why she's not infected, but the other one's clearly walking out with the hazmat suit and then getting the infectant chamber that you see. Disinfectant chamber. Like they're definitely clearly scared of like even coming in contact with the apes and like fucking everything up for their colony.
But then you saw the other humans that were feral humans.
Well, yeah, but they don't want to become like that.
Yeah, where did she come from? What's her story?
Yeah, she's like an outlier.
Very, very interesting character.
I think maybe she like left to find the sat nav.
I think they sent her out to find this thing so they could get the satellite.
Maybe there was like a crew of them. Like, see, the thing, we don't know anything about what
she could be. I believe she did mention she was traveling with other people. She may be the last one of this group, and she's trying to blend in.
And she knew Trevathan, so I think they probably did send a crew out to this bunker.
Oh.
That's the thing. You don't need to. I don't feel like I need to know that.
Yeah.
Like you can unveil that if you do a couple more movies, you can unravel that even more.
Yeah,
and I'm in.
Well, so if they do another 5, if they do 2 more and then take a break and do another trilogy, you could have like an attempt of humans trying to come back and they're defeated again. It all has to end up with apes wearing clothes and having buildings like humans, right? Like that's where.
I mean, theoretically, you would end it where the '68 movies began.
You know what else I love about this whole series? The really slow evolution of their communication. You know, you literally go from just sign language to lots of sign language and a few words. But even when they talk in the second one, it sounds like it hurts, like they're straining. And then in War, he's talking just a little bit better. And by now, full sentences, full comprehension. But they still use grunts. They still use sign language.
Right.
Which is fantastic.
And they don't know how to read and write.
Yeah, but remember Maurice was teaching. He was the only one who knew how to write, I guess.
He was.
He was teaching everyone, yeah. And like Raka is kind of like the Maurice, but then that's why I hope Raka comes back.
I think it's just so like that, like even that part, like it's so you can clearly tell the people in charge of making this movie and making this series, like they put a lot of thought into this stuff.
Yes.
Like the evolution and what that would look like, and mixing in, like you said, the sign language with the written, with the spoken, and like now they're speaking full sentences and, you know, thinking about things that are beyond themselves. Like I think it's just really awesome. But this is all overlaid with the fact of like this giant tragedy, right? Like of human nature, and then now being just ape nature, and then like, can they ever get along type thing? Like, can we ever have peace? And it's like the answer is always like, no, not really.
One side has to be in charge.
I think you can only have peace when you both agree not to bother each other.
Coexist. Like they got to figure out.
Yeah,
they would have to split the planet.
But as long as they have, each of them have things that they want, like the humans want the world and the apes don't want to be put back in cages or,
right.
I mean, or be relegated to living in the jungle or whatever. So,
I mean,
I think the thing that like keeps them at odds is the history. If they didn't know their history, like if the humans didn't know that they were on top and the apes didn't know that the humans, you know, put them in cages, they'd be like, fine, like we can deal with this. But it's that, you know, and that the history never dies. It keeps being told to, you know, generations that, like, hey, this is what happens when you let that other side get out of control.
And is there anybody else left who follows the original order of Caesar? Does this knowledge, is it still around somewhere? It's very
Noah will be like one of the people that keeps it going.
What is the knowledge of Caesar? That Caesar grew up raised by a human,
by people. Yes, they were friendly
and knows the ways of human. That is the reason why it's such an important thing. He knows human beings.
Yeah,
right.
There's
he knows
good ones
the good.
And there's bad ones.
He knows the good. He knows the bad.
Well,
he knows.
Raka even says he what's his line? He was like, Caesar thought humans were important, so that's why humans are important to me. Which is why he throws her an apple and keeps her warm.
Yeah, he gives her the blanket and says, "Show her mercy."
Imagine, I kept thinking, imagine he found a stray dog and the dog just started talking. I would imagine that's kind of like what it felt like. We're like, what the fuck? What, you don't?
Even like Caesar's Caesar's one of the all-time characters.
He's such a great character
because he's a kind of a flawed character and he has all these things pulling at him.
Yeah, but
like he, at the end of the day, he wants to be better. He wants to be compassionate. And he has like good, like the ape not kill ape.
Yeah.
Apes together strong.
Yeah.
Like those are all good things.
Yeah.
You know, 300 years. It's just interesting to see, because we see this with, you know, modern stuff too. Like you know, your different figures in history, religious figures.
Yeah,
like
Jesus was white with blonde hair and blue eyes. Sure,
right.
I'll buy that. But I love how the beginning of the series, the 68 movie, is all about the Caesar mythology, and then we see it, and then now it's been forgotten again. And it's been twisted and misappropriated. It's fucking brilliant.
It is. It's in that ending too. You just end and you're like that movie ends and I'm like, am I hopeful or am I like white knuckling? I don't know what to feel at the end of
But if Rick Jaffa and Amanda Silver said they had ideas for 9 movies, I believe them because they clearly have a solid, consistent vision. And I think Wes Ball did a good job. He's also going to direct the Legend of Zelda live action.
I saw that.
So I think people are like, this is good for that because
the people online were really pumped that he did this so well and he's doing Zelda.
I've not seen those Maze Runner movies, so I don't know his
They're all right.
previous work.
Supposedly they reached out to him and he was like, no, I'm not doing this. Like, the trilogy's great.
Yeah.
But then he came back and was like, well, can we do something like this where it's like 300 years later and I'm not tied to those movies?
And I mean, I think it helped that there was 7 years in between, right? Because it makes it more special. Now give me 2 more movies in the next couple of years and then let it sit and then come back and finish it out. Like, that's what
Where would you go next? Because there's a lot of I've seen some speculation like, hey, there were so many things point to space. Maybe you have the humans show up now.
But see, I think it's too early for the humans to show up. I thought maybe those satellites, they may also get in touch with a spaceship if it's still out there.
Mm-hmm.
But realistically,
do another war movie.
Yeah, I think you'd have to do like the humans trying to regain dominance, and then Noah is torn.
Would you keep it on Noah?
I think you do keep it on Noah and his friends because none of them died. Everybody survived, and we've established these characters. I like these characters. I like Noah. I want to see more with Noah. Absolutely.
I think that Noah and May start an alliance. Not an alliance, but like they talk to each other.
Right. They're like the representatives for each side or something.
And he wants to learn how to read.
Oh.
He wants to know what these symbols mean. And she's kind of like...
She's hesitant because she knows if she teaches
she doesn't want to teach her,
yeah.
but at the same time, he's gotten her out of so many jams that she, and that maybe she teaches them a little bit, and then
the humans don't want
they're off
her
to the races. Yes,
humans don't want her to work with the apes,
or you do that in or maybe like she's gotten the humans to a point where they maybe can threaten the apes again.
Yes.
But she's gotten them to that point, but then she's having second thoughts about doing that.
Yes, because she still has
like,
the
oh,
necklace.
Fuck, did I fuck this? Maybe I'm wrong about doing this.
And bring Rocca back. He's not dead.
Either that, and this is the other thing that I think of, is that maybe since no one knows that these bunkers exist, they go out and they try and find shit.
Oh,
yeah.
Maybe they come across some shit that they could figure out, like a little kid books where they could teach themselves how to read, where they have like a picture of an apple and then that means apple.
Or now they got
These
tanks
symbols.
and weapons and shit.
Yeah, they might be seeking stuff out or whatever.
Or maybe maybe like they go harder on Noah and he because he's discovered all this stuff and he goes out to these bunkers, but he's not only looking to get the technology, but maybe he's trying to proactively attack the humans.
Yeah.
And he's kind of now been jaded by all this, and he's like, I'm going to kill them.
Well, where do you think Noah is after all this?
Well, he does say, doesn't he say Proximus was right when he told him, don't trust the humans? And he tells
he
May.
does say that.
He says
But then
Proximus is right.
It does end also with him still hoping that humans and apes can get along. Or at least asking the question.
But he's not as trustworthy, I don't think. He's been
he's definitely he's not naive. He's not the same guy.
Yeah.
He does not trust the echoes like he used to.
Yeah. He's a little...
Or he doesn't... He used to think the echoes were just this harmless thing.
Yeah, they didn't talk, but he knows they're smart.
They're conniving, scheming things.
Yeah.
It's just good. It's just
Good shit.
fucking good. I loved it.
All right, rate it and rank it, Anthony. Give me a number, and let's just rate it how against this modern trilogy or the whole thing. I don't know.
I'll do a lot of different rankings for you. First off, I love this movie. I love the whole Apes thing. The Apes series is the most underrated series. The modern Ape series, everyone watches them and then forgets about them. I think that these are all underrated as well. They're all great. 9 out of 10.
Oh shit!
I loved it. I think the only thing that holds it back is it is a little slow, and it if you're looking for some forward momentum, it doesn't really start to pick up until halfway through when you really go, oh, okay, here's what's going on. So that kind of dings at a point for me, but I loved it. Ranking it amongst the modern Ape films, I think I would rank it. I have it tied for second.
Okay, this is hard. It's hard.
Dawn is still the best one.
Absolutely.
Man, I feel like it's tied for second with War and Rise. I think they're all second.
Really good. I know. I was having trouble.
So I would say this one. I'd probably, if I had to choose numbers, I would go Dawn, Rise,
really,
this one, and then War
and
last.
War.
Just because War is a really depressing movie.
Yeah,
but War is awesome too.
War is really.
They're all great.
They are.
And then I would if I'm ranking it there, I'd rank it tied for second or third, and then amongst all the Ape films except Burton's, I'd probably rank it fourth or fifth, somewhere around there. I think the original Planet of the Apes is awesome. Escape from the Planet of the Apes is really good. Conquest of the Planet of the Apes is really good as well. Those are all old.
So,
and then last but not least, it's the best ape movie we've seen this year amongst Monkey Man and Godzilla vs. Kong.
Okay. Oh, that's
one.
Yeah.
Then there's one, and then Godzilla vs. Kong 2 and Monkey Man 3.
Oh, fuck off. Okay. Wait, so original series, Planet, Beneath, Escape, Conquest, Battle, outside of the first one, what's the best one?
Outside of the first one, I think the best one is Conquest.
Oh, the fourth one.
That's the fourth one.
Oh.
That's the one where Caesar takes over.
Yeah.
Like they're enslaved and then they rebel. That's a good one. Escape is really good too.
Okay, so 4 and 3 are good.
Beneath is really weird.
That's the one with the nuclear bomb. With the nuclear bomb.
Yeah, they're worshiping a fucking bomb, and you have mutants, and they're like they can project fire.
Yeah,
that's a really strange one. And then Battle's a good one. It's just so cheap. They don't have any money for that one. But Battle is like the whole premise is ape not kill ape, but then Caesar's son gets killed by one of the gorillas.
And then, the Tim Burton one is just a misfire. They tried.
I gotta watch that one. I haven't seen
2001. That. I will give them credit for using the masks. I think the
prosthetics there are awesome.
Yeah, they were pretty good for him trying to do it.
Not bad at all, actually.
Yeah, just the movie just doesn't make sense and it misses the fucking whole.
It's got Mark Wahlberg in it. That's the first
problem.
mistake.
Ruggs, give us a number. Where do you put this movie?
I'm gonna go with what Anthony said. I think it's maybe the third one down.
What's second
of the modern ones? So you got War, you got Rise, and then this one, and then the rest go along with that.
Dawn. What's number 1? Dawn, right?
Yeah, Dawn, and then
War,
then Rise, and then this one.
Okay.
War last.
Then War.
Then War last. I think that's how Anthony had it.
Yeah,
that's pretty much. Dawn is so good.
Dawn is very good. There's so much.
That's
going
the
on.
middle one.
Oh,
that's the middle one.
That's
with
what I was
Cobra,
gonna say. Is the only thing I missed from this movie is fucking apes with machine guns. Yeah, I love seeing that. They gave us so much of that those last 2 movies. I mean, Koba on the horse with 2 machine guns in his hand. Oh fuck, come on.
Great.
Caesar, I always quote. I'll let Ruggs talk in a second, but I love Caesar at the end, or Koba at the end. He goes, "Caesar has no place here. Apes follow Koba now."
Yeah,
I love him. I love Koba.
Koba's fucking great. What number, Ruggs?
Oh, score?
Yeah.
It's an 8 for me.
Okay, and out of Godzilla X Kong, Monkey Man, and Kingdom, where does this rank?
Best ape movie.
Oh, this is the best ape movie.
This one's the best.
I mean,
That's
it's
easy.
not fair because one of them doesn't have any apes, right? It's got a mask. I put it in the category. Okay.
He just wanted to talk about Monkey Man.
I'm going to talk about Monkey Man. I'm going to give this movie an 8 out of 10 also, and I think your ranking Dawn is the best. They're all so good. The other 3 are very, like, this could be my second favorite. It could be my third favorite. War is good.
It's the best sci-fi consistently good sci-fi franchise out there right now.
Well, I just remember when I saw Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Everybody that I was with, like, that was fucking good. Like, wow, I did not expect this
It was
movie
a
to be
surprise.
good. It was good.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they did even better.
Right.
The next movie, and it took it to a whole other level. So
This is the best CG, though, I think.
And
out
this
of
is
all
like
of
they're starting like this whole new adventure.
Yeah.
That's built on that, and they did a great job with that. This is like probably one of the best continuations of all time.
Yeah.
So they did a great job with it. The only thing I docked the point of is it was a little bit long, and I would have liked to see more of the bad guy, a little bit more establishment of that.
And it is.
And
It's
that's
like
it.
it's like a part 1, right? So now you're waiting for the rest of the story. As far as the 3 ape movies, look, for action, Monkey Man gets the top vote. Best, but for pure fucking ape on ape action, it's this movie. Absolutely. I mean, it's so thoughtful and layered and nuanced, and I'm glad to see that the apes are still stronger together. Apes stronger together.
Go back and watch the scene where in Rise he says no.
Yeah.
For the first time. That's an awesome.
No!
Get your hands on me, you damn stinky dirty ape.
Yeah.
Oh.
So good. But
Music is
again, I can't believe how stunning the CGI was. It was
it's amazing.
just
And again,
the writing
160.
Yeah.
Marvel's putting out shit for 300 mil
and
that
then
looks like trash.
You get MODOK for 300 million, and
Oh my God.
and they gave us all the, and there was a lot of apes. I mean, there's a lot of work put in. They look fucking
Absolutely.
like the close up on his eye when he's looking through the fucking telescope, like it's
the
glistening.
wonder in it. Yeah, just the wonder in like his eye.
And everybody's expressions, like Peter Macon as Rocca, his whole performance, like you saw everything in his face, just like the other movies. So they went to ape school. I'm sure Andy Serkis had something to do with training them how to act. They nailed it.
They
So
did
good.
a great job with this movie.
It should get
160 million, and it looks like a $400 million
absolutely.
movie.
It should get some Oscar nomination for special effects. It's
Oh yeah,
It's amazing. I mean, it's as good as Avatar, right? I was as immersed as I was in Avatar. Completely fine.
It's impeccable. I mean, I like even like the way the fur reacts to stuff, and like the facial movement. It's just like, and even when they don't talk and they communicate with their ape grunts, like you get what's going on.
Oh, it's so good. All right.
Beautifully done.
Let's find out what some of our listeners thought. News from the nation.
It's time for news from the nation.
It's time for news from the nation.
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
Nick Shev just says it was Earth all along.
It was Agatha all along.
I don't think he saw the movie.
Oh.
It was Agatha all along. That's the new name of this show. And then Jose Ibarra says it was good, but I don't know if I call it a great movie. Everything in the movie looked amazing, most notably the apes. I did get a little bored at times, though. The runtime was about 30 to 40 minutes too long. That seems to be a theme with movies you've reviewed this year. This, Fall Guy, Dune, Civil War, Monkey Man, all seem to be anywhere from 25 to 45 minutes too long. Rebel Moon Part 1 and 2 are about 2 movies too long. Anyways, it was good enough to keep me excited about the direction of this franchise. Yeah, there's been a lot of long movies. Give me a good 90-minute, or when do those come back?
If you're going to make it long, make it like everything, pack everything in.
This one I didn't mind. I liked hanging out with them. Like, we needed to learn about the Eagle Clan, I guess. I don't know. And these characters. But even on fucking mushrooms, there was a point where I was like, okay, he found them. Now where are we going with this? What is happening? Where's this going? So I was like, because it was, it took a long time and he finds them. I'm like, okay, now what? The fuck are you doing now? And they gave us the now what, though. So a little more Proximus could have been good. Okay. Let's finish up with some what are we watching. Anthony, you watch anything?
A lot of NBA playoffs, but I did watch X-Men 97 episode 3 because I have to catch up before the next show. So I'm through 3 episodes that ended with Madeline Pryor going her separate ways, and yeah, I think
that was the Goblin Queen Sinister episode, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And Nathan Summers is going to the future.
Oh, yes, because he's got the technovirus.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
okay,
they do run through that shit real quick.
They run through.
I'm going to catch up before the next week.
Okay,
we're going to have to review.
Yeah, next week will be the review of the first season, all 10 episodes. But they run through storylines sometimes in like 30 minutes, like a whole bunch of issues of comics. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, they just blaze through it.
Right. Speaking of, did you watch the latest episode? Well, spoil it for Anthony a little bit, but
yes,
whatever.
I'm not really paying attention. So
okay. Spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
What'd you think? This is the penultimate of the series, and we got an iconic comic book moment that they gave us.
Yeah, it's been Magneto D Adamantium's
pulling
old
the
Logan.
fucking adamantium right off his boat. I remember when they did this shit in the comics. It was wild.
Magneto's never been cooler.
But then it always made you wonder why, like, Wolverine will go up against Magneto when he's covered in metal and Magneto controls metal.
Not a good move, my friend. Magneto's a badass. He's fucking doing this shit. They're ripping through all these comics, and I don't know how it's going to end up, but it's pretty crazy.
People are taking sides also.
Right.
With Magneto against the X-Men. They got in their old costumes. That's kind of fun. Yeah, one left.
I mean, we went through like the Shi'ar. We went through all kinds of shit.
Yeah, they did all the big storylines from the past couple of years. I remember when in the comics when he got that man team ripped off and then he had the bone claws, remember? And that was fucking crazy that the bone would shoot out. So maybe they're going to do that. Anyways, next week we'll have full X-Men 97 season review. Anything else, Ruggs?
I watched Riddick. I think it's on Peacock.
Yeah.
And I watched Pompeii. I don't know why. I was just like, yeah, we throw this on. So Riddick, it's got Batista in it, and he's Riddick at the last in the Chronicles of Riddick. He overthrows the Necromongers and becomes the head of the Necromongers. Only he gets stabbed in the back by Carl Urban and tricked into going to this planet which he thinks is Furia, which is his homeworld. And he's stranded there. They kick him out and they try and kill him. But he's now left to die on this lonely planet. And he survives and he ends up finding an outpost and basically announcing his presence to everyone. So he's got this huge bounty on his head. So all these mercenaries now descend upon the planet to get him. But he's doing that on purpose so he can steal one of their ships to get the fuck out of there. And there's a bunch of like alien monsters that live on the planet that are hunting everyone down at the same time. So it's kind of like a low budget movie. I'm not saying it's a low budget movie, but it's a small movie. There is a lot of effects. There's a lot of monsters. There's a lot of CGI and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's done pretty well. And it's a slow burn. Katie Sackhoff is in it. Batista is in it. I think you see Katie Sackhoff's boob.
Oh yeah.
And it's an all right. It's all right.
This was the third one, right? I've seen these, but I don't remember.
Yeah,
if they were
I know.
any good.
That's why I watched it. I'm like, I saw this. I know I saw this in the theater, and I don't remember a fuck of it.
I remember the first one being pretty good, Pitch Black, and I think Chronicles was good. I don't remember.
They're all very generic films, but they're still fun in certain ways because Vin Diesel is like, I'm a badass in this movie. So
did you hear the story just came out last week? They're making another one.
Yeah, I know. So
called Riddick Furia. It's going to be going into production.
Yeah,
soon.
Well, that's the trajectory. He wanted to get his ship. He wanted to find Furia. He wanted to go back to his homeworld. So I don't know if that's going to play out well for him because Furians are kind of dicks. So
he's got a franchise here, though, right? The Rock don't have that.
Yeah, he does. He does have a legit. I mean, they're not well regarded, but yeah. I like him. And then I watched Pompeii.
Yeah,
which is Titanic in Pompeii.
It's
about the same exact
the volcano and shit.
Yeah, it's the same story as Titanic, except
2014.
It's Kit Harington as a gladiator. It's directed by the guy who did the Resident Evils movie.
Oh,
and actually, if it wasn't for the really lame soundtrack, that kind of is it just reeks of being like second tier soundtrack. Or like even third tier soundtrack.
Like it's dated. It makes it dated.
Yeah. It would be an okay movie because it's Titanic. It's the same fucking movie.
So they all die at the end?
Yeah, everybody dies.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
But it's like Titanic. It's like a gladiator guy falls in love with this princess and, she's supposed to get married to Kiefer Sutherland.
She doesn't want to.
She doesn't want to. So, and then all of a sudden, as they fall in love, volcano happens. It's Titanic. Same fucking movie.
It's Titanic with a volcano.
And gladiators and shit.
Gladiators in ancient Rome. Wow. I might have. It
wasn't a great movie, but I feel like, it's not that. It's a. You know what it seemed like? A TV show. Like a good TV show.
You know what I heard is good that was also underrated in this vein? The Ben-Hur remake. I heard is actually.
I watched that.
I heard it was actually pretty good. Paul W.S. Anderson directing Pompeii.
Yeah, he's not the greatest director, but this is probably one of his better films.
I don't even remember this fucking movie coming out. But good disaster movie.
I just wanted to watch fucking ship blow up, and I did. But like, it's never on the scale of like a James Cameron film. It's like an episode of Game of Thrones, like a really long episode of Game of Thrones or something.
Okay, that's not bad, I guess.
Yeah.
I just got one thing I didn't mention this. It's something I watched last week, but it was pretty fucking crazy. It was a documentary on Hulu called The Contestant. Have you guys heard about this?
No.
So this is about a Japanese reality show called Denpa Shonen. And in the late 90s, the producer had an idea. Apparently in Japan, like in the magazines and on the radio, there's a lot of competitions where you can win random shit. You just have to fill out a postcard or call in, submit. A lot of competition. So this producer is like, I wonder if a person can live on competition prizes alone. This was his pitch. This is what he wanted to do. So he does an open casting call. He randomly picks this one dude who's like a comedian. And they bring this dude, they put him in this room. And in the room is just a rack of magazines, a stack of postcards, a radio, and like some water and a little table. There's a camera in there. They tell him, this is not going to be on TV, but they want you to record a video blog, and they want you to write down in your diary your journey. And then they go, now strip. And he's like, wait, what? They're like, strip. They take all his clothes and they leave him with a pillow. And the goal is to win 1 million yen worth of prizes from competitions. And then you can leave this room. Now, he does say the doors were never locked. He could have left any time. This guy goes about trying to survive, winning. He never wins any clothes. He does this for like over a year. All the while not knowing that the footage every week was cut together and it was on a segment on the show, and 30 million people were tuning in every week to see what he would do and what he would win. And he had no fucking idea. It's kind of like the Truman Show before the Truman Show.
That's fucked up.
And this producer essentially kind of tortures him and torments him. When he's got to come in, he'll come in the middle of the night when the guy is sleeping and just wake him up with a flashlight. And there's a crazy twist at the end. They like take him out and they put him in Korea. They make him do it again. And he does it again. And then there's a reveal. His reaction is, it's a fucked up story.
Wow.
And this guy lived on, like, you see him win a bag of rice, but he can't cook it in anything because he's got no pots and pans. He wins dog food and he eats it. He wins like a globe, all these random things he's filling out. He's doing 100 postcards a day. That guy never wins fucking clothes. He's naked the whole time. There's no blanket. He's just sleeping in this room away from everyone, isolated for over a year. Doing this thing, not knowing that it's one of the most popular shows in Japan.
So shouldn't he like get his revenge and like chop his head off?
You think that guy would be mad, but I don't know. Like, he was a very good sport about it. And he's in the documentary talking about it in present day, and he's like not mad about it at all. But his hair grows wild.
He was like, he wanted to be naked all that time.
He didn't want to. He just could never. At one point, it looks like he won like a knitted pair of shorts.
Why did he have to be naked?
I don't know. They just took his clothes.
Give him a pair of underwear.
And here is the funniest thing. This is the beginning. It's got to be the beginning of the eggplant emoji. Why? The guy talked about how he had this long face growing up, and people used to make fun of him, and they gave him this nickname of like, it was Nasubo, which meant eggplant. And so the scenes where he's walking around naked, they put an eggplant over his junk to cover it up for the show. This is like late 90s. This is way before the eggplant emoji means what it means. I think this was where the eggplant emoji started in Japan. But it's on Hulu. It's like an hour and a half doc, and it's fucked up, dude. Japanese TV is fucked up. It's great.
Wow.
Called The Contestant, yes.
That's
and you're
crazy.
like, why didn't you just leave? You could have left at any, But yeah, so check it out. That's it for this week. Ruggs, where can the listener find you online?
You can find me at Rug Boy Show on X. Come by, come follow.
Anthony, where can the listener find you online?
Online?
Or anywhere. Where can the listener find you?
You can find me soaking in all the Apes content that I can soak in at any one time, or you'll find me trying to catch up on X-Men 97 because I got to watch all that stuff
There
for
it
next
is.
week.
There's the homework. X-Men 97 next week. In the meantime, listeners, share the show. Spread it around. Get one of your friends to listen. We'd appreciate it. Thank you for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
We'll beep you next time.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
I want your head up when I throw my fist in the air.
Okay. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.